Good evening, afternoon, good day, one and all. Welcome to the stream. My name is Grindhead Jim. Today we're going to talk about display, organization, and play for your toy collection. Um, Spoilers, I will not be reorganizing my bins tonight. And I know I see some of you in chat are going to be a little disappointed about that. There's a reason for that. Main reason being that uh, Sue starts her new job today and will be getting home in about an hour and a half. And I really do not want her to have to wait for dinner, nor do I want to have to wait for dinner. And frankly, because it's her first day, I want to make it about her, not about me. So we're not going to go more than 90 minutes today. I do have some toys to unbox and talk about and have fun. We're also going to have the discussion proper. The reorganization is going to have to wait. I might be able to do it later in the week or even next week, depending upon what happens. But I do want to say to everybody, hello. I understand. Thank you. So, Merry Christmas to everybody. I see a lot of that in there. Kieran, hate to disappoint you, brother, but Mr. Kieran Ball, this ain't gonna be that long of a stream. For once. Sorry. Brendan Haley says, "Hey guys, might not be able to be here. My thoughts are with you all. Have fun. Hey, even if you just the fact that you stopped in to say hello, brother, appreciate you, mate. Appreciate you very much. I love you." Johnny Sorden says, "I hope there's enough bins for a full set. Am I after that? I am after that rare variant empty tub myself. I don't know if there will ever be an empty bin in the grind studio until we get to a place where everything is displayed. Then you're going to see a stack of empty bins for real, for real, for real, for real." And dun, 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 dun. So I see Bjorn Jorgensen, Jim Largo says Feliz Navidad. Dun, 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 dun. Bjorn is right when he says this is going to be fun. But just not the kind of fun he was thinking we were going to have. Sorry. Horrible, horrible, horrible. Johnny Sorensen says, I was hoping for a Gym Live Raw, but I'll take whatever is available. It is the right time of day for that sort of a thing. And I do like myself some pro wrestling here and there, but I will not be jumping off the top rope. I will not be grappling. I won't be cutting any promos. I won't be saying "you're fired." Like I won't be saying any of that stuff. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but I appreciate it. You'll take what you can get. Dun 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 dun. Thank you, Bjorn. I will pass that on to her. Uh, you are not wrong, Jim Largo. I have had a lot of problems with time management lately, combined with burnout and legitimately being busy as well. So, like, it's been difficult the last few weeks for sure. Um, and it's something that I'm very conscious of, and I'm trying to reprioritize some stuff. Tomorrow, I've got a fairly open day to kind of get done anything I need to get done. So, I have some priorities tomorrow, some very specific things, which I'll talk about at a later date. And I am just going to try and get some stuff fixed up. Like right before we went live, I filmed a tour review that I said I was going to have out Sunday. Well, that's all right. I'm sure you guys will enjoy it. It'll be fun. It'll be great. And the vintage story thing, I don't know if I'm going to make it out in time for the simple fact that I don't know if I have the time to actually do the research on what I have to give you a proper review. And I've kind of made the decision if I can't do it right, I'm not going to do it. So that's been a big part of it. And I know you're joking, Jim, but you're not far off the mark. Uh, Keith Knight, what's up, mate? It's good to see you, man. It's good to see you. Kieran Ball says, Grinded Jim's got his priorities right. Who's way more important than his toys. That is true. It's 100% true. She appreciates my appreciation of the toys. She's got her own collection, but she worked really hard to, first of all, get here, took a job that she really didn't like. She thought she was going to really dig, but it really was wearing on her. It was a big health risk, her continuing to work there because it was just so much stress. And she made the decision with my input to move forward, and I had faith she would find something pretty quick, and she did. And what she found looks to be pretty dang ideal. So I'm very proud of her, and her health and my health have to come first. So Thank you for echoing that statement there. So I hope y'all are doing great. I am doing well, despite all of my scatterbrainedness and burnty outiness and things of that nature. I'm doing well. Um, but when we think about, displaying, organizing, playing with toys, I think everyone's got a slightly different approach. There are some things that I think are fairly universal. For example, if you are going to display toys, you can hardly do worse than one of these acrylic stands here. I'll switch over to Toy Cam to show you. Bum, bum, bum. So these you can get in a 3-pack off of Amazon between 12 and 18 bucks. They're not expensive for what you get. They're pretty sturdy and they do the job. I have 2 sets of these, and recently I dropped one of them on the floor. It was a very high fall combined with other things hopping onto the top of them, and one of them, like the side snapped off. It didn't shatter, it just snapped off. And I probably could have fixed it with some like epoxy or plastic weld. I don't know. But relative to the cost of what a 3-pack would be, I was like, well, just buy another one. So I did. And I have 2 of some sizes now, particularly of the big ones, because I think in a display you need a bunch of these things moving forward. You might choose to use a more tiered figure stand. Those are plenty of things out there for that purpose. So when you're putting things on, but and although these are universal things to consider, I think ultimately you have to. It's kind of like when you're saying anything to anybody, you have to consider your audience, right? You got to look at the context of what it is you're doing. Like myself, I don't have display space. So the only toys I have on display are He-Man and Skeletor, the Lego Me and Sue's Me, and then the Hot Wheels Wind Raider and Land Shark because they just fit kind of right here and they're out of the way. I've got the Buddhazilla and like a little Jurassic Park thing or something. That's really it. I just don't have the space to put, it all up. And that's fine. I never intended to have all my toys on my desk. It was never the intent. And all of my collections, I have gone through varying ways of storing and organizing and displaying. For a long time, my CD collection was in these tubs, very similar to the ones we have over here. And they were in a closet. It was horrible to get the things. There was pressure on the jewel cases. It wasn't good. It was something that it was a compromise that I made with my wife at the time because we didn't have a ton of room, and she felt that the display of media was kind of gaudy. And I said, "Well, I can see where you're coming from, but I don't feel that way." So I got to store them in a way that I could use them practically, but they were not an eyesore. Granted, as soon as I had the opportunity after the divorce, I displayed them all because that's what I wanted to do. Um, and I continued to prioritize that as much as I could. For the majority of my time in Iowa, for example, all of my CDs they stayed in the boxes that they were traversed in. I didn't really need them. I digitized everything. But movies always stayed on some kind of a shelf. They always were right there for easy pickings and stuff. I try to do that as much as I possibly can. And with toys, I'm going to take the same approach where I want to be able to just access them. I want to display them in an exciting way, but not in such a way that I want to be able to just pick one up off the shelf anytime that I want. So I want there to be easy access, but still have some panache. I know some of you, Jim Largo, I'm going to call you out, pal. You really have a great display. He has full dioramas and things display in a certain way, and it's very museum esque. Um, and as he's saying here, he says it's difficult to get organized. Usually end up playing with stuff you forgot your head. I don't blame you. Like hell. I just did a review of a Marvel Legends figure, and I'm just like, oh my god, this is great. And I had to stop myself and reposition my hands and put them together right, and just have a nice objective conversation about the guy. But if I wasn't going to have the stream, I would have been like going shoo, flying around stuff because he's a nice one. He's a nice one. And we're going to have a little bit of fun with these toys since we're here. It's just a thing. And Bjorn says most of his stuff is in boxes. Circulate the stuff around. That's completely fair. Keeps his Lego organized, but you do have a few desk toys play around when you're bored. I think that's perfectly reasonable. I think every space is going to have a type of system that will be lent to that system. So it's like if I had a room as big as we have now with no extra crazy walls or nothing, and it was just for this, dude, of course, everything would be in here on shelves, floating around, doing the thing, fun. I don't have that kind of space. Those of you that are here probably have seen me enough in some informal videos to know that there's a pantry behind me. And like I said, next to me are these bins right here, and that's fine. It's a lot easier to get to the toys, but it's not as easy as I would like. A more ideal approach would be to have them like in a row or something. Um, I don't know. I really don't know how I'm going to approach it when the time is. 'Cause I don't know the size of the space that I'm going with. But for me, I prioritize aesthetics. I want to be able to see everything, but I also want access and practicality. So I feel like in an ideal world, what I would probably do is have like taller shelves on either side with a shorter one in the middle. And that middle one would kind of be like, this is my little play area. Whatever I'm into the most right now gets displayed there, and then I'll move it, whatever. So, but I don't know. It depends upon the space. But I want everything out for the most part. There's a few things that I feel like I don't necessarily want out. Um, I'll use the example of the Mego Spider-Man that Jim Salzberg sent along. At a bare minimum, I want to get a reproduction box to keep him in most of the time. I just want to keep him nice. I don't have a need to play with him. I have plenty of Spider-Man figures to play with. But I don't want to seal it because I want to be able to get him out if I want to get him out. So I want him to be able to display nicely, but also have access. I just want to be like, hey, what's up, Mego Spider-Man? Same with the Captain America that he sent as well, where I want it to be accessible, but I don't want it to just kind of stand there loose if I can help it. So, you know, Bjorn says they have a Hot Wheels wall where most Hot Wheels are. That's awesome. And Hot Wheels, because of their relatively small size, they're not too bad to display. I would say under most circumstances. I look at this. I get it over here. There we go. Focus on the Wind Raider, you jerk. Focus. Come on. It's not focusing. I might have it locked. But they're relatively small, and that's a great thing. And it's something I was looking at some of the new offerings for the 3 3/4 Marvel Legends stuff, and there was a split second of like, oh, I should have just invested in those instead of these big guys. Um, and it's something where for a split second I was like, oh, I should have gone 3 3/4 inch, but what can you do? I think the Marvel Legends 6 inch is superior. Um, but I'm not going to mix and match at this point. I'm going to stick with that scale for this kind of figure and go from there. Um, Bill Wifta in the house. Hi, how you doing? Nice to see you. Jim Largo asks, do you label your bins? Do you organize by manufacturer or character? I see the benefits of all of those things. In my case, I do not currently label the bins. On a long enough timeline, I will probably have all clear bins, and I'm going to figure out some way of having removable labels. So what I'll probably end up doing, and I know this seems like a lot of work, this is how my brain is. I'll probably want to print out a logo for whatever the collection is on a thick card back, super glue some Velcro on the back, super glue Velcro to the bin, and so I know what's in there. The idea being that you could put more than one in these places. So it'd be if as you reorganize, you could do some stuff. I would like very much to have all clear bins, but I've got plenty of the solid ones, so I need something. I tend to organize by toy line. I tend to organize by toy line. So in my perfect world, I would have Motu Origins in one bin, um, Superpowers collection in one bin or two, depending on how big that gets. Um, Marvel Legends in one bin, and then like all military stuff like GI Joe Classifieds, Action Force, all that stuff in one place. And then Muppets would have to have their own space. So then the question becomes, well, do you go with one uniform size bin, or depending upon the size of the toy line, do you get bins that are more appropriate to those? Because you could get a small thin bin, and the Muppets would fit in there perfectly. Um, and I do have a label maker, Jim. I do have one, but I want something that's more removable and more dynamic at on site. But you're right, label makers are great for a lot of different things. Um, Daddy Dora says, "What about Yes? What about Yes? What even is Yes? I'm not sure what you're asking. Please let me know and clarify so I can answer your question." Doing Jorgensen says, "I prefer 1/18 scale, but I have a bunch of 1/12 scale." Exactly. Johnny Sorensen says, "I spent a couple months organizing all figure accessories into those mini containers seen on Analog Toys. Now I can find things in 5 minutes, not 5 hours." That's fair. So my current system with that is to, because I am primarily buying complete things and or new, okay, when I polybag the figure, the accessories go in that bag. Now, when I go to display something and I don't want to put all the accessories in it, what I'm going to have to do is use that posted pad that I have and just write down what the hell is in there. And then so I can fold over the bag, put it back in the bin, and be like, these are the accessories for this figure, da 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 da, so that I don't disorganize myself too much. Um, there is probably a more elegant way to do that. Um, and I have seen the mini containers that Tony has. I might go that route at some point, but I can't say with any certainty that will happen. So for now, I'm going with okay. Here's what I know for a fact that I definitely have, and then kind of go from there. I don't know what the best solution for me would be, um, except to have something. So like I do have smaller little bins, and like when Action Force comes, I am reasonably certain that accessory kits, things like that would go somewhere in there, but I'd still want to keep them bagged and separate so I know this is this one, this is Alpha, this is Bravo, that sort of a thing. But it's always going to evolve. I'm always going to come up with a better way of doing it. I have to go through a few iterations of mistakes to find it the way that I want it. Because I don't want to have like a bank of little mini drawers with stuff in them necessarily. I want to be able to pull out a small tackle box type of thing, go whoosh, and be like, okay, where is what I'm looking for, kind of a thing. So it's going to vary. Your mileage may vary. Ian Sweeney says they focus on 3 3/4 inch. I have a small space for display purposes. I start with a playset or diorama, then purchase figures to populate them with. Like the approach I'm taking with Star Wars and the Bespin. Now, seeing how far that's evolving, I'm just kind of like, I can wait until I have a better idea of what's going to be there so I know what it is I'm looking for. Ted Milich, welcome. Nice to see you. Bjorn Nugent says, even my all of my Joe stuff is bagged up in the accessories to respective figures. There you go. There you go. Wolfie762, nice to see you as well. Bjorn says, eventually I'm going to build a space station like Rotgut Station to store your figures. There you go. Like again, there's a lot of different things one could do. Dorian says, what about Yes? Is Northern Ireland slang for what's happening? Simple as what's happening. Fair enough. Didn't know that. You taught me something. Good for you. Thanks. Appreciate that. What about Yes? It's kind of like in Pittsburgh, we have Yins, YINZ. And that's you ones, meaning you individuals. Yins, what are yins doing? And then they pronounce downtown, dantan. And then they also will say and that and that. Yins going downtown to get some burgers and that. Yins going. It's a whole thing. It's kind of crazy. So, well, of course I had to read it in Irish accent. I can't do Irish, so I'm screwed. I can barely do Welsh and I can barely do English accent, and I can really horrible at American English accent because people still can't tell me where I'm from. I don't know. So I, not meaning to insult anybody, I'm just not very good at the speech. As Jariba Shigan would say, the Elfman speech. So I'm not very good at that. Not very good at that at all. And then no and then. No and then, Ted. So I do have a Marvel Legends Black Widow with Cycle and a Wolverine Marvel Legends with a motorcycle as well, which I am going to be depackaging today. And I thought we might as well get that started so I don't get too far along before I forget to do it. So I will start that process now. For those of you that weren't here for the last stream, I have decided, with the exception of card backs, I really don't have any desire to keep packaging for Marvel Legends. It doesn't seem to serve a whole lot of purpose, generally speaking. Although this is a very nice package right here, it's quite nice. It's cool, but it's damaged, and I just don't care. I just don't care. And that's not to say that anyone else should not keep their boxes. It's a question of space and practicality. At the end of the day, for me, it's a question of space and practicality. I don't have the space, and it's not practical for us to keep most of these. I have a few of those boxes in storage, which I'm going to have to get out of storage and just throw them away. I just don't. I just don't like them. I don't like them. I think they're a bit too extravagant for what they are. And again, I would say the P word again. They're just not practical. But to make my life easy on that front, I just cut the tape here and here. Right? Did I get it all? Did I get it? Okay, I did. All right, cool. Opens up just like this. Fairly easy to then flatten. So it wouldn't be the most horrendous task in the world to hang on to these. Like, it really would not. Like, these are not that bad if you think about it. But with all the space issues that I have, like, what's the point? I can't do it. So this is going to go over here for now. Sit. Nope. Oh, damn it. On the floor it went. Kieran Ball says, I have 4 storage cabinets, each with 6 drawers filled, and with my bag of sort of action figures, they're bits and bobs. I also have 12 large plastic storage with larger box items. Fair enough. Fair enough. Ian Sweeney says, I know the Snake Eyes movie wasn't very popular. He has not seen it. Has anyone got the classified Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow? I ask because I found them online UK for £8 each. I will say that I have a classified Snake Eyes with the Doge, and I have another one on the way. One of them is a trade. The other one's for me, and I like it. I like it a lot. I do not have a Storm Shadow, and £8 for each of those is a freaking steal, Ian. Get them. Get them. Get them. Even if just for resale value, quite frankly, because they are really they're just tough enough to come by, I should say. They're just tough enough to come by. Is this just not roped in, is it? No. Wheels just being a bit of a jerk. Okay. Motorbike. Handlebars are up here for some reason. Bike. Bum, 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 bum. Okay, and there is something holding that in for no apparent reason. That's okay. I don't like that, but I'll cut it. That's fine. So I'll cut them. There we go. Another saddle bag. And then we'll get out Mr. Logan here as carefully as we can, within reason. Come on, pal. Let's go, bub. Come on. Come on. Here you go. That's a good boy. All right. And then patch. Get the tape off here. We have our extra hands for these hands. All right. Bum, 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 bum. Take out the papers in the trash. Exactly. The floors where the boxes belong. Well, they're on top of the trash. So, yakety yak with the back. Danny Dorian just found out today Toy Biz made role play toys and suits for the Marvel line in the 90s. Oh, that's kind of crazy. Hopefully, the Valaverse vehicle won't be a motorcycle. Too many 6-inch ones already. I mean, what'd you miss, Melvor? What did you miss? What you missed is me basically saying, hey, it's a whole concept organizing your stuff. And I just unboxed a Marvel Legends Wolverine with a motorcycle, which I am just about ready to mess around with a little bit, have some fun. He's actually in pretty good shape. Look at that guy. Not bad. We're gonna get this motorcycle put together too. Now, by design, he's got this little kickstand here, which is quite nice. It's right here, which, from what I understand, that bike lacks, I believe, which I think is dumb. So, what does this do? Does this just keep the back wheel from spinning? Is that what this is for? Looks like it is. Whoa! Oh, so they rubber banded in the one side of bags, and I don't know. I guess you're supposed to just kind of sort of get them on there for some reason. I don't know. But the two pegs for the other side there's two holes here, two pegs here. So I get those put together. Why they don't keep them together, I don't know. There's a peg on top for them to attach to, like so. I think it's got a. There we go. These are not very friendly. Well, I gotta say, but that's all right. Hang on, that's all right. Let's get that out there. And then there's a slot for this to supposedly go in here, I guess. Yeah. Even though it doesn't really work. So I'll try that first. All right. So I got that on, but the other side is lacking it for some reason. So I don't quite understand what they're trying to pull. But between the peg here and the peg here, it sits pretty nice. I'm not gonna complain. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Bum, bum, bum. Ayo. Good to see you too, Star Fox. Good old 2000s. There you go. We're all waiting on our action force, dude. It's not just you. Bobby is working as fast as he can, and other retailers' shipping is just frankly slower. It's just a thing one has to deal. So this is supposed to be the speedometer, I guess. I'm not sure why it's on the outside of the handlebars. I really don't get it. But you got these little clips here. I don't know if I can get that focused or not. Let me see if I can get this focus fixed. Sorry, guys. I don't know. We'll see what we can do. Oh, so this should focus now. There we go. A little better. There you go. So it goes in like that. Let's pop them in the top here and get it done. Now I don't know how feasible it is to take these out once they're in. Feels soft enough, feels malleable enough to take out, but I don't know that I'd really want to take that risk, to be perfectly honest. All right, there you go. Got your kickstand right there. And he could just hop along Cassidy on this thing and be all like, yo, I've got my claws out and everything. Whoop, I just took his head clean off. I'm not even a 44 Magnum, the most powerful handgun in the world. So he can just kind of sit there if you want him to just sit there. But there's ways to get him more, you know, more motorcycle-esque, I suppose, if one is so inclined to do it. But it's a great figure. It's a very nice motorcycle, and I'm quite proud to have it in the old collection. Big thanks to Jim Largo for the tip that got these on a Black Friday deal. Couldn't say no relative to the cost because I've been eyeballing these things for a while. So we'll just kind of put him over here, throw out his rubber band, put his bike right there, and go there for now. For now. For now. For now. For now. Now, Miss Black Widow, who does not appear to have a kickstand. For shame, Natasha. For shame. For shame. For shame. He says, be careful with the Black Widow bike. The mirrors tend to break if you're not careful. And you know me not to be a careful man, so thank you. Bum, 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 bum. One thing that Daniel Dorian doesn't like about good modern toys, 60% of them are aimed at adult collectors. I would feel like it's actually a higher number than that, to be honest with you. But I get it. But as an adult collector, I'm kind of like, screw them, you know. But I understand like the whole idea of like, you want kids to be able to play with toys, and I certainly do. But most kids at this stage of the game, like they're just not as into toys as we were. They have so many other options that I think it would take an adult collector parent in most cases to really foster that love of toys that we had. It's a shame, but that's what I tend to find. Like Motu Joneser, who's a great YouTube channel. If you're not subscribed to him, you really should be. He and his boy do Motu reviews together, and they have both vintage and origin stuff, and it just really genuine, fun people, and they're just a lot of fun. I really enjoy their content, and it's great to see a young person really get into these toy lines a lot. It's pretty much one of the coolest things. Might need to take the mirrors off anyway for safety. She might crash checking herself out. That's fair. That is fair. So, I'm going to try a slightly different approach this time around. You just stay like that, Natasha. Stay like that. And put you back in the box here. That's what I'm going to do. Get in the box. Get in the box. Why freaking have it? Yeah, I can see what you're talking about, Jim. Those look pretty flimsy. Now, bears mentioning, this is a Marvel Comics Black Widow, not an MCU Black Widow. So it's not meant to look like her, which is fine by me. I like the comics version just as much. Get her head out. Get her body out. Pretty low number of accessories for this character. I'm kind of surprised. But I have plenty of Black Widow stuff that I can deck her out with if I need to. Just get your head out of it. There we go. Yay. All right, goody. So right away, she poses nice. You know, she looks good. Good looking figure. Does the thing. I am a bit fascinated with the longer hair version. So we're going to make that happen immediately. Oh, almost dropped her head. Don't drop the shield agent's head. Dun-dun-dun-dun. All right, get on there. Shimon. What the hell, dude? Just get your head on straight, Natasha. Would you please? Thank you. Whoa, her leg came off. But it popped right back on. So the longer hair doesn't really impede head movement too much, but it looks quite nice. I rather like it. Very cool. Very cool. So we'll put her off to the side here. Hopefully she stays standing like a good shield agent should. Always stand up for what's right, and just in general, stand up under their own power. Come on, stay, just do it. Come on, come on now. You can do this. Ah! You were built for this. You were made for this. You were built to stand. At least you were supposed to be. I'll just prop you up on the motorcycle, and we'll put your severed head right in the seat of the other bike. That doesn't even work either. It's okay. It's fine. It's okay. The engine appears to be a shovel head. I'm sure. I also like Wolverine's bike better, but this is still pretty cool. All right. So here's the bike in all its glory. No kickstand to speak of. No action of any kind, really. I don't know if this is supposed to be a kickstand or what. It feels loose, like there's some kind of mechanism here, but I'm so hesitant to move any of this. It might just be a sonic weld. I honestly don't know. Um, the mirrors, I can see why they come off. There's a little give to them, and that's a problem. I don't like that very much, but that's all right. I don't have to like it for it to work for me. Not a lot of turn to the wheels. A little bit, nothing too crazy. It's a bike. It does what it's supposed to do. I just wish it had a nice kickstand like Wolverine's. I would agree that his is the superior bike by a lot. But it's still nice. I just don't like the idea that I'm going to have to find some special way of displaying this bike, because there's no way to just have it sit there reliably, right? You basically would have to get the figure onto the bike and then more or less stand them on the bike or use their leg to prop it up, right? So just to test that theory, if that's even feasible, it kind of works. You can kind of make that happen. But there's nothing really holding them into the bike unless she were to put her hands on the handlebars, which I'll give it a whirl. So do the hands go on? Kinda. They kinda do. So we do that. And then we do, come on, put the hand. It puts the hand where the handlebar is, or it goes in the bin again. Come on, let's go. Come on, Romanov. You're embarrassing me in front of my friends. But she is attached. So at that point, that does work. If you get one hand on the handlebar, you could stand it up like that. Which again, not awful. Not great, but not awful. There's definitely some things to be said there. It works. It's fine. And got what I wanted out of them for the most part. I was frankly more interested in the Black Widow figure than I was in the bike, but it's a nice bike, especially relative to the price that I paid at the time. So I'm not going to complain too much. But I do think that the design flaws that are inherent are just heinous enough that I'm kind of like, dude, really? Like, is that what you're doing? So I didn't actually slot this in all the way. But even though I didn't, you can still take it out, which is nice. Going to try and fit it in the bag. Because this is a fairly sturdy bike. Shouldn't be a huge problem to put them in a bag. at all. Just so I have a place for them. That's a lot. Whoa! The bike fell over. Car wreck. Mirrors are fine. No one worry. It's fine. Here, go to sleep. Go to sleep. Go to sleep, little bike. It's fine. It's okay. Now she has to wait for AAA. And like, almost took my head off. That's the whole thing. It's an entire mood, actually. Dun. Gerard O'Connor says, hope all was well. Late to the parade due to watching a movie with fam. No worries. Glad to catch someone on the stream. No worries. You like the 2000 X-Men films were really faithful to comics, especially 1 and 2. I mean, they kind of. They tried to be faithful. I'll say that much. Yes, I would agree that mold is probably been the one was reused for Steve Rogers. Yes. Yes. She's not though. It's just the feet aren't quite stable enough for certain things, which is kind of the case with a lot of the Hasbro female builds. I find a little weird, but it does the trick. Does the trick? Yes, it really does need some kind of something. It needs something, anything, to function more properly. So I'm going to put the bike in first so I have more agency over how it sits. I do not want the handlebars to be at the bottom, nor at the point of the crease of the bag. So I've kind of got the figure up top to kind of brace everything a little bit. I even go this far as to create a false barrier so there's no pressure whatsoever on them. And I just got to be careful with how they are stored. So, not the most compelling display, I'll admit. But, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Nickelodeon. Daniel Dorian says the guy who played Stryker in X2 fucking nailed it. Yeah, I agree with that. Brian Cox is a great actor. I think overall, the first 2 X-Men films are pretty good, but they are a product of their time. I didn't like the all black leather outfits. I still think Hugh Jackman was too tall to play Wolverine. I've got my gripes with it. But again, that's hindsight. When I first saw it, my mind was blown. I never thought we'd have anything close to what we got. So, and then of course, Spider-Man comes out, blew my mind. And they just continued to get better and better. And now we're at a place where a movie like Spider-Man No Way Home is the 3rd highest grossing opening box office weekend of any film of all time, beating out every single Star Wars film ever released. So when a Spider-Man movie can do that, pretty stoked on it. It's a good thing. But part of the reason I'm showing you this like this is kind of show how gaudy some of the packaging is and how much smaller of a footprint these things can have. I'm very happy to have them. I liked the look of them in the box, but I like the look of them out and being played with much, much more. However, if there's people out there that like to keep things boxed or even keep a second one or whatever, like I totally understand that. It's just it's a preference thing. So Kieran, looking at your thing here. All right. Would I have preferred Doug Ray Scott as Wolverine? I could see him as Wolverine based upon the pictures that I'm seeing. Sure. I could see that. I could definitely see that. Sure. Ian Sweeney says, do we have inflated expectations for moody adaptations of comic book characters? I don't know if I would say inflated. I would say that I guess it depends upon the expectation that one would have. You know, I cannot expect a film released in 2021 to capture exactly the flavor of the comic in the late 70s and early 80s. It's impossible to do because the world is different. So I expect them to nail character. I expect them to nail tone, with the understanding the context is going to be different and the audience they're going for is different. So personally, I don't think I have overinflated in expectations, but I do think that it's possible to expect too much. Um, you know, Daniel Doran says, "Well, you know what they say: money isn't everything. Quantity over quality. That's the way I see it." You, you mean quality over quantity? I'm guessing, as far as your philosophy goes, and I would agree with that for the most part too. Um, and I would say that with the MCU films, by and large, we have gotten quality despite the amount of quantity we've had. But when you're doing anything on that big of a scale, there's going to be a couple duds. Um, I haven't seen the Eternals yet. I've heard it was horrible. It might be. I don't know. I haven't seen it. I can't form an opinion on it. I'll watch it in January when it comes out on Disney Plus. Looking forward to it. Actually, I'm looking. I would like a change of pace. Frankly, I think the reason Eternals got so slammed was in part due to the fact that um, people were so ready to see a Marvel movie, and this was supposed to be totally like way over here. And I think that they were going in looking for that raucous kind of a thing, and especially after Shang Chi being as good as it was, they're like, What is this? I don't understand." And I think that's part of it. I feel like it's a similar thing to what happened with Han Solo, where I think that movie's fine, but because it came out after Last Jedi, expectations were skewed in a different direction, kind of a thing. You know, Johnny Sorkin says after Iron Man 1, The Dark Knight, the bar was raised from 90s shtick to hey, an actual film. So hopefully we don't go backwards. I don't think we're ever going to go backwards, realistically speaking. And Gerard O'Connor says Tom Hardy's Venom was awesome, so why not hope for that standard across the board? I don't see a reason not to hope for that. I just saw Let There Be Carnage yesterday for the first time. I have um, the I'm trying to think of the word 4K on the 4K Blu-ray, and it's great. It's amazing. I love it to death. Um, Great movie. It wasn't exactly what I wanted out of a Carnage film, but if you're going to put out a Carnage film in today's day and age with Venom already being the anti-hero and all this stuff, it was about as good as we're going to get, in all honesty. Because when you have someone called the Lethal Protector and he doesn't kill the villain at the end, spoilers, um, there's a problem. And I will say that the Venom films have very consistent quality, and is due in no small part to Tom Hardy's dedication to the character and the concept. Um, and it looks like we're only going to see more of him because he's such a great character, for sure. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Bum, bum, bum. Ian Sweeney said it like the first two Fantastic Forms of Jessica Alba, mainly as they evoke childhood cartoon bubblegum innocence. I would agree with that to a degree, but being a big Doctor Doom fan, I was like with the Fantastic Four, I was more or less okay with the way they were portrayed. I was okay with the effects. I just wanted a more sincere Doctor Doom. He was just a narcissist, rich prick. It's not who Victor Von Doom is. So I think when they find, honestly, Marvel could make a Fantastic Four movie in their sleep. I know they'll nail the Fantastic Four themselves. The problem is nailing Doom. If you can nail Doctor Doom, everything else falls into place. You give me a solid Doctor Doom casting, design, and performance, I'm in like Flynn. In like Flynn. Bum. Kieran Ball says the Eternals is garbage because it's the Eternals. Not even Jack Kirby keeps comic book alive because no one likes the material. Fair enough. Not a lot of people like Guardians of the Galaxy comics, though. That's one like none of my friends ever talked about. I barely read them, but they're among some of my favorite characters now because the way the movies were handled. So I feel like there are, depending upon, because again, I haven't seen it. I'm not qualified to comment on it, but I think I would agree that the concept of the Eternals is certainly a problem, but it could be done. Who knows? Who knows? Jim Salzberg, welcome, brother. Finished my Steel Brigade dossier last night. I got mine done as soon as they announced it. So I have like number 41 or something for that. And Jim says, well said, that was not Doctor Doom. I agree. I can't blame you for liking the Fantastic Four with Jessica Alba. But as it goes on, it's like a little too unbelievable with her age and everything. Like I don't see it. Danny Dorian says one of the main reasons I love the Venom films is because they have a proper mature tone to them, unlike the MCU. Uh, not far off base with that. And if you look at Netflix's Daredevil, I think that's the perfect tone for that character without getting into cheese. I think they did a great job with Luke Cage, and the Punisher. I think all of those were handled very, very well. And given some things that Kevin Feige has said very recently, it looks like a lot of those actors and characterizations are considered canon on some level, right? And I'm not going to go into anything else about it. There are some spoilers um, for Hawkeye and No Way Home. There are some things that allude to that without being like super blatant, I would say. Um, but it's good stuff. I think that they're on the right track. There's going to be some things, when you're making 30 freaking films and 6, 7, 8, 12 different series of all these different characters and juggling it, once in a while, you're going to have a dud. You know, a lot of people didn't like Ant Man. I loved Ant Man, loved it. I don't think the marketing got behind it the way that they should have, and I think that there was a certain degree of burnout from theaters. But I think once things got rolling into that phase, good stuff. Ant Man versus the Wasp was amazing. Loved it. Bum, 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 bum. Johnny Sorensen says the kiddie tone of Venom movie really turned me off. Well, here's the thing. Um, the overall film, it's a bit silly, but the fact of the matter is that in real life, if you have a voice in your head and only you can hear it, and you are trying your damnedest just to live a normal life, some of that stuff would have happened. Uh, However, the kind of gleeful joy and silliness of the Venom character, it's very apparent in the comics. It just depends upon how one perceives it, I suppose. Right. So on one hand, it was pretty dead on, but I can understand why you wanted something even more serious. Um, yes, Kieran Ball. The Guardians of the Galaxy comic book characters from the very different, very very different, for sure, no question about that. I like Tom Hardy in most things, but he felt like Spidey 3 emo B roll. I disagree. I think he was fine. But again, opinion. Everyone is entitled to one. You would like MCU more if they weren't so cartoony and comedic. I think cartoony is a bit of a stretch. Comedic, I'll go with you on. I would agree. Paul Rudd's the perfect Ant Man. Uh, lived both Ant Mans and loved both Ant Mans. Was shocked how good Guardians was versus a lame comic. I agree. Jim Salzberg says, loved how Venom that Tom Hardy did both voices playback earpiece on set. Yes. He would they would rehearse the scene, then he would record his dialogue as Venom, and run it through a few quick filters, and then give him an earpiece so he could play off of himself, which was, I think, a great way to do it. Um, dun, 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 dun. Okay. So Johnny Swords was saying it was fine for 13-year-olds, which is the age thing of your character, good for them, but not for me. Right. There's certain things that I just don't like. Um, for a long time, I railed against Star Wars, the Clone Wars as a series because I hated the design. I hated the animation style. I still don't like it, but the stories they tell in that show are amazing. so I got over it, you know. Um, but again, if you're not into it, you're not into it, and that's totally okay. It's totally okay, and of course, it's okay. Joe Becky, welcome. Says I hated Venom on first showing. Second time a few years later, really liked it. And yeah, I my problem with it initially was that I loved Tom Hardy. I liked the Venom character and how he was portraying that. I thought the effects were good. I thought their take on the character, contemporarily speaking, made sense. But I could not get over the lack of the white spider. I could not get over the lack of Spider-Man, and that they jump straight from, you know, this happens to they go straight to Lethal Protector. It doesn't feel earned, in my opinion. But having seen it multiple times, seeing the second movie, and really stopping to think, like, okay, I see where they're going with this. Um, it could have been done one a hell of a lot worse. Spider-Man 3. So I think ultimately it was what we needed. Um, there are other things I would prefer, but for what we got, for given their intent at the time, turned out really, really well. And it'll be interesting to see where they go with it. Karen Ball says, of course, originally Hank Pym's origins Ant-Man was supposed to be a one-off horror story. Exactly. Vance Astro's origin story was a one-off sci-fi story. Exactly. Man, I haven't heard that frickin' name in a while, Vance Astro. Had a great design, that character. Gerard, I'm not sure what part of what I said was spot on, but thanks. I appreciate you. Appreciate you. Hey, Dorian says hated the designs to Clone Wars as well, but it was mainly but it was based on the prequels. I would say that the Clone Wars series fixes the prequels as far as one could do that with a separate piece of media. Now, it doesn't make me want to watch the prequels in a standalone way. I like the idea that you can watch the third act of, you know, Attack of the Clones, go into the Clone Wars series, watch them in chronological order, and then watch episode 3. And episode 3 plays way better after you've seen all 7 seasons of the Clone Wars, or at least the important story arc pieces from the series up to that point, particularly season 7, because it works out quite well. Um, but I get it. I get you. Jody Becky says, agreed on Venom hedging with Sony over Marvel, if that means anything. Oh, so you're saying like Sony's intent to go in a certain direction with Venom versus the Marvel try to do their best with what they were given. I understand where you're coming from, and I'm definitely there for sure. Not overly concerned one way or to other. I think that they're in good hands, and that Tom Hardy was by far the best choice for that character. I think of all the people that are out there right now, right build, right commitment to acting, took the right approach to that character, it would be hard to recast him. It'd be very difficult to recast him. Very stylized. Yeah, Rebels. I don't like the animation style in Rebels either, but I like the stories. Melvor says, and again, hello, sir. We got to get together soon. I'm just saying. Didn't mind the Clone Wars look. Rebels not so much. Yeah, I think both are acquired tastes, to be honest. Um, I think part of the reason I blanched at it initially was because we were still in the midst of damn like the prequel trilogy hadn't finished yet. And they put out the Clone Wars movie, which was really a pilot for the damn show. That's what it was. It was a pilot for the show. And within the context of the show, it happens like 10 episodes in or something. So I'm glad that I looped back around, watched it in chronological order, and really got into it. I think it's far better. It aged far better than it should have. Um, Samurai Jack, yes. For Star Wars, no. I agree with that. I agree. And then you have to think about, okay, if you want super crazy good animation, Um, maybe we wouldn't get as good as stories. I don't know. I don't know. I'm no expert. Ooh, Bjorn Organ says I was able to run for the first time today since I pulled the muscle in my back last week. That's awesome. Don't push it too hard, but I'm glad to hear that you're feeling better. Very glad to hear you're feeling better, man. So, do y'all want a little tease of the review that's going to be coming out tomorrow or Wednesday? I want a little tease, little tiny tease, little something, something, little something. Just let me know if you do. I saw a gigantic, earth-shattering thing, but I didn't even know this thing existed in this form. Jim's all like, "Yes, yes, yes." All right, fair enough. I can do that. So let me get this thing together as well as I can without showing off what it is, because it's going to be difficult. It's a big fucker. Uh, uh, uh. I'm going to be reviewing this guy. This is the recent reissue of the MCU Vulture from Homecoming with more film accurate paint deco. I'm doing a review on him. I filmed it earlier today, and I'm actually really impressed with this figure. Like, he can actually stand, like, for the first time. This is the first time I've tried to stand him with the wings and had a problem. Those are behemoth wings, dude, and he stands. It's great. It's really great. Love this figure to death. I have a few minor gripes about it, but nothing huge. Really love this figure a lot. Um, very glad to have him for sure. Fancy Birdman. Tease me, you beast. Yes, 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 yes. Without the oops. But he's a good figure overall, and I was really pleased to get him. Um, Jim also got one, which will be on its way to him shortly. But even just the figure himself is a great looking figure, and the wings are just a really, really nice addition. They're gigantic. They're crazy. There you go. Massive footprint right there, yet killer look. It's a great figure, and it's spot on movie accurate, I think. Um, better wings than Falcon. I would agree. And as I discuss in the review, is that originally all the pieces were build a figure pieces for his backpack, which was like, I get why they did it, um, but at the same time, seeing him in one box, just get it done right. Mulver makes a great point. Is that makes me want to see a new Rocketeer figure now. I would love to see a Rocketeer series of figures in the Marvel Legends scale. I think that would be a great idea. You just get the core characters, a couple Nazi thugs, done. Give me a diorama with the blimp and all that. I'd be in on that like Flynn. In like Flynn. Bum, 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 bum. Did not know this. Mego have a great Rocketeer figure. I did not know that. That's actually pretty cool. Bum, 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 bum. Mm. Hope he got off that oxy before flying. Yeah, right. Dun, dun, dun. I actually mentioned that in the review, Jim. This is a great figure that you could use for multiple things. Of course, I'm going to be using him as the Vulture. And he comes with this neat little thing, this little, just kind of. Why am I doing this? The camera's not up. Here, this actually holds the wings in place. Like, you can just put that there, and they just sit there, which is really cool. Um, you can also use it in tandem with the figure if you need to, but most of the time you don't have to. But it's a nice little inexpensive addition that makes it quite good. Uh, No worries, Ian. Appreciate you being here. You take care, brother. You passed on it as a build a figure, but getting it all at once was an easy buy. Yeah. The few gripes. I mean, I'll spoil part of it. Like the few gripes that I had was that there's not a swappable head with no helmet, and I think that probably has to do with likeness rights more than anything. Michael Keaton probably said, "No, not doing that this time." And then the other part of it being that it is a Target exclusive. It's my only real gripes with the figure overall. Overall. But the review's fun. There's gonna be a lot of sped up footage of me opening and putting it together and stuff. It's a bit of a bit of a slog. Bit of a slog. Bjorn says I like figures I can put in other displays that don't belong with other figures. There's definitely a lot of those out there. Kind of like my Savage Land figures that are Motu scale, but not really Motu. Like, of course, I'm going to have a diorama that I do some photography for next Halloween, showing these slasher icons menacing He-Man and Skeletor. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. Yeah, I want a Tombs head as well, and I'm willing to bet that there are some makers out there that probably could make that kind of a thing, like just mold the head and stuff. You can get like alternate heads on eBay and Etsy and stuff. Like I've seen a great Nicholas Hammond head for Spider-Man, and I really want one. Really want one. And I would love to see a Tombs head as well. I think it would be great. Great addition to the figure, and it makes a lot of sense to do the thing and the stuff. Um, but it is what it is. It's cool. Casting Cave might have something. I'll look into that. Bill Wifta looks excited. Says, "Ooh, got my Lords of Power Motu set today. That's pretty cool." So what'd you get? You got Merman. So you just got just those. So it would be Merman, Beastman, Green Goddess, and there's one more. Can't remember what the fourth one is. Oh, Evelyn. Evelyn. Right? Right. Yes. Yes. Gerard O'Connor says mix and match Fortnite figures really work well with figure lines, though I haven't gamed for years myself. I'm a avid gamer and I don't play Fortnite very much at all. Like I haven't played it in like 2 years. It's an okay game, and the figures I've heard nothing but good things about in terms of their ability to mix and match. I think because they do go on clearance so regularly, if you find one you like, it could easily be a troop builder depending upon what you want. I think, especially when you look at Action Force accessory packs and stuff, you could probably get some pretty cool things out of that. Ted, I'm in the same boat, man. I can't. It's hard to paint those. It really is. It is a skill that I don't feel that I possess. Um, so I would have to find a head that's relatively inexpensive and practice on it, and then get it around. I know I could do it with practice, but the problem is getting one and then. Knights of Old said I bought shelves like Retro Blasting has never looked back. I've looked at those shelves. Those are great shelves. Those are amazing shelves, and those are also amazingly expensive and not as adaptable as what I would like. What I'm looking at are some industrial style shelvings. They're like kind of wire based, and you can get plastic inserts to make the bottom solid. They're great for game consoles. They're great for toys. They're adjustable this way. I like those because they're more solid. The fact that they're open does bring into play some issues with dust and so forth. Um, so when I make the final decision on what I'm gonna get, that may play into it. Um, but there's probably solutions that could be made that would still keep the cost down in my. But kudos to you, like they're great. Uh, I love anime. I like that. Jim Salzberg's mom went to school with Michael Keaton at St. Malky's. Nice. No Merman. Okay. Merman, Man at Arms, Beast, and wait, Man at Arms. So Merman, Man. You're not talking Motu Origins, then, are you? So you got Merman, Man at Arms, Beastman, Skeletor, He-Man. That's still cool. That's awesome, man. Oh yeah, definitely overrated for sure. Absolutely. That's what the Discord's for. Major Motu Christmas to play yesterday. Like a nativity scene kind of thing. That's kind of cool. If Orko is baby Jesus, I'll be impressed. I'll be impressed either way. Does Ninja Scroll fall under the title of anime? Yes. 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 Keaton is a Pittsburgh guy. Yep. Sure is. Confirmed. I heard about that too. Little known fact: Mr. Rogers, his mother was at a care home. My grandmother took care of his mom for a long time. Darth Vader's in your nativity scene? Fair enough. Fair enough. Power Clock exclusive set from last year. Oh, I know what you're talking about now. Okay, 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 okay. Now I know what you mean, and that's a great set. I don't even want to think about how much that set you back. But if you're into that sort of thing, that is a great set for sure. You know, it's a great set. Bum, 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 bum. Not a nativity scene. Fair enough. That's okay. I want to see it. Put pictures out there. Put pictures out, bro. Um, there's a ton of stuff and as we get closer to Christmas, like I've got the gifts for Sue's ready to go. I'm gonna wrap them depending upon what time we're able to go to get some errands done. Whenever she goes to work, I'm gonna wrap her gifts properly. Uh, properly. I don't know how I'm gonna one of them is gonna be a bit of a pain in the neck to wrap, but I'm looking forward to it because it's a great gift. She'll love it. And no, I'm not telling anyone what I got her because this is on YouTube. It'll get back to her. Plus, we're doing a live stream Christmas morning just before Retro Blastings. Retro Blastings is at 1 p.m. Eastern. We'll be doing ours for 2 hours. Prior to that, we will have already opened our gifts, and we're just going to show them off and talk to you about Christmas and everything else. So it's kind of a whole thing. Oh, just found your comment. I saw it in one place. I didn't see it here. Knights of Old says your shelves are slightly different with adjustable shelves, but they cost a small fortune. Yeah, that's the thing. I have moved often enough in my life that I know what I'm looking for with furniture. I need versatility. I need sturdiness and something inexpensive. It's easy to I because I troop build furniture. Like if I find something I like, I go kind of nuts and get a bunch of them. Oh, that is a very nice there. Yes, 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 yes. I've seen that diorama. That's actually pretty cool. That's awesome, Bill. I like that. That's very cool, sir. Very, very cool. Very, very cool. Very, very cool. Unboxing toys to play. Are you asking if we're going to be doing that on Christmas? Or is it something where you're asking in the context of the discussion? Because I do. I like unboxing them to play right out of the box and so forth. And um, without giving anything away, I will say that I don't think either of us got the other any toys for Christmas. I don't think because she said on multiple occasions she is not going to try to get me something I'm collecting because I've got that on lockdown. That's kind of her thing. Um, I personally, and for her, we've been getting her a lot of the toys that she wants. I when we find something that she wants at a good price, I just tend to get it because what she likes tends to be on the less expensive side most of the time. So when we can, I just just get it because the longer I collect, the more I see that a lot of value and a lot of things is not going to go down. Like retro games have been going up, 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 up. for the last 10 years. They just got a big jump last year. Those aren't going to get any cheaper anytime soon. They're just not. The collector market's always going to be there. The only time you might see some value drop would be after my generation, our generation kicks the bucket or starts to kick the bucket en masse. Then the value might go down a bit because the collectors for that might uh, diminish a little bit. That's about the only thing. And Bjorn Jorgensen says, "Iconicon vibes for Christmas? Yes, please." It wasn't planned that way. But when I saw that when Retro Blasting was doing theirs, I said, well, I'll just stagger it ahead of time because I don't want to go later in the day. I'd rather go earlier. So that's what we're going to do. Oh, I love it. And he got these miniature mint on card He-Man figures for their Origins figures to hold. It's really, really cute. It's very nice. I like it very much. It's very, very cool. And I rather enjoy that Tila and Evelyn got crap toys, and they both are kind of like, really? It's very cool. Very cool stuff. Very, very cool to see. Very cool to see. Dun, 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 dun. Knights of Old said, I saw the retro style Motu toys at retail today and was surprised they were $20 each. Seems high, so I passed. It depends upon where you go, Knights of Old. The actual retail on those is $15. That's what you should be paying per figure most of the time. Now they have deluxe figures that are closer to 20. You can usually get them around 18. So it depends upon the figure. So if you have like a deluxe, multiple heads, multiple hands, bunch of stuff like Ram Man or Battle Armor Skeletor, Battle Armor He-Man. I think Mosquitour falls into a deluxe figure as well. Yeah, those are going to be $20, but the mainline figures are 15, and the quality you get for that price is really good. And if you factor in inflation, they're right on par cost wise. Honestly, they really are. And the quality of the Motu Origins line is really quite high. I absolutely love them to death. And I am currently retail complete up to this point. The only thing I am missing is the current wave. It just hasn't gotten to me yet. I have everything else. I love them to death. Love them to death. Jim Salzberg says, so far, 70s toys are holding value even though we are aging out. Other than 12-inch Joe, much 60s stuff already peaked. I agree. I would agree with that. You guys are talking about anime. I'm not qualified for that at all, but they're nice. But they're nice, then they're fun. What did you do? So, whoop. What did I? Oh, what did I do? Jim Sullivan says both. I love bringing home a new purchase just to mess with it. I agree. I kind of also dig. Um, I have enjoyed things being in box for at least a couple days, and then getting a chance to sit down and open it on my time, kind of a thing. The exception that I made was that when the Hasbro Pulse Johnny Storm arrived, I immediately took him off card. Immediately took out the box, flattened everything, threw out the box, cut the bubble off of the card, kept the card. Love that figure. I think with Marvel Legends, generally speaking, I don't want to keep them in packages anymore at all. These two have been sitting in my trunk for like a month for no good reason. I think I thought I was going to put them in storage, but now it's like, got room, got room. Like, what's the point? So after this stream, they're going to go into the bin. I'll be very happy that they're in there, and they'll be safe. It'll be fine. It'll be fun. Yay! And I got a little bit of cleanup to do, and I have an extra bag that I can just start throwing garbage in, and then tomorrow stuff like that. Blah, blah, blah. But yeah, I feel like um, the vintage toy review that I keep teasing. I don't think there's a way I can actually make that happen this week. I really don't. So I'm gonna take my time and make absolutely certain that because next week at work is dead. It is dead, which is good. It's the week between Christmas and New Year's. Plus, I only have a 3-day work week anyway. I keep forgetting, but I have Monday off of work as a as an um, observed Christmas. So I am probably going to take a lot of time in the morning to finish the research and hold the phone. I might actually write a partial script for this. I haven't done a scripted video on toys ever. Everything you see in my videos is me talking completely from memory and off the cuff with no reference material at all. And I just cut it together. I know that's not super amazing, but it is my style. But I've also done scripted stuff in the past. So it's something where for this one, I don't want to run the risk of getting anything wrong because it is vintage and the information's out there. I want to take the time and kind of make it rock. So I might be able to get that film Monday if I have my way. Um, yes, Riz, a scripted review, semi-scripted. So like I'll have talking points I want to go over, but I'll formulate them, on camera and then edit it together. So there's going to be points I need to make sure of. Like for one, this is a playset with some figures, and I don't recognize all the figures. I want to make sure I get them right, or as close to right as I can. Make sure I'm aware of what the accessories are that are missing, things like that. So I can speak intelligently on the subject, and then at the end of it, so give like a small history lesson on what they are, where they fell on the line, and then what my opinion is of the toys, what I plan to do with them, all that stuff, and that'll be more off the cuff. I think it'll be a fun video for everybody. I just want to make sure I get it right, because there have been times when I pulled something out of a box and I'm gone, I have no idea what this is, and I feel like a jackass. I feel awful, right? Um, I don't like that feeling, so I'm gonna try and in places where I can uh, circumvent that, I am going to. So, folks, we are nearing the 90-minute mark for the stream. Um, I want to thank everyone for being here. I want to thank you for your support and understanding with everything that's been going on lately, and also the fact that I didn't do the organization that I promised you. I will. I'll stream that whenever it happens. Um, might be this weekend over Christmas. I don't know. I really don't know what we have planned right now, aside from Christmas Day. So I'm not going to make any promises about content this week, with the exception of the Vulture review will come out tomorrow or Wednesday, depending if I want to get a chance to edit it. So look for that. That one I can promise because it's already filmed. The editing won't take long, should be fine. But otherwise, you'll get that video this week. Thursday, I may or may not be on somebody else's show. You might hear about that in the relatively near future. Just saying. And then Christmas Day, we'll be right here live at 11 a.m. Eastern Time to spend some time with all of you. So, and with that, we got Suze a collapsible chair. So she'll be right here with me for that stream. So if you've wanted to spend some time with Suze, this will be your chance. So I appreciate you guys very, very much. I'm glad that you had fun. Gojatron, I see you. I love you. Yes, please hit the like button. Tell your friends. And little humble thing that I ask, which is totally not humble at all. If you like these things and you don't already do this, when you're doing something like taking pictures or reorganizing your stuff, consider rewatching some of the streams. It helps the channel in great big ways. If you don't want to do that, recommend it to a friend. No matter what you do, keep doing it because you're amazing. I love you, and I'm really going this time. I will see you very soon. Good night.